Hi everybody, I'm Josh Constantine with TechCrunch TV, and we're here at Facebook headquarters in Menlo Park speaking with Justin Stahl, one of the product designers on the Facebook Home, the brand new Android experience that Facebook just launched today. So Justin, I want to see if you could tell me a little bit about this gesture, physics-based gesture system that you use to move around in Home.
Sure. So we've spent all the time with the engineers working to make this just incredibly responsive and super fast to use. We also think it's hugely enjoyable to have this nice kind of gestural interface. Anything on the screen, you can move it, you can drag it around. It's a lot of direct manipulation, which this being a touchscreen is generally like, oh, I'm just touching glass, but having all these objects moving around is really exciting, and it's just a lot of fun to use. So when I tap on my profile picture, I can move this around. These are responsive. They have a little bit of kind of physics to it, and they have a little bit of gravity. And yeah, it's very natural, very organic, very realistic way that these things move.
Yeah, if you know about how Path works on iOS, that feeling of the button sort of popping up and it feeling very responsive to your touch, Facebook Home is like this on a whole nother level. You can actually move around all of the buttons and all the different pieces and tiles that you see. And there's also there's physics in the sense of you can move things with momentum, right?
Yeah, you can throw things and they react and they hit edges and they bounce back. And things react just how they do in real life. They don't just go a linear speed and then stop. Everything here reacts like things would. If you bounce a ball, it bounces and then slowly stops, and things here work the exact same way.
So part of the Home that you launched today is on the HTC First. It's coming pre-installed on the HTC First. Now Facebook typically builds its products very internally, like you guys do stuff yourself. Sometimes they have developer hooks that you work with third-party developers with, but in terms of the core experiences, you guys tend to build them all yourself. What was it like working with HTC and AT&T on building the premier, pre-installed Home experience?
So I actually didn't work with HTC and AT&T. We built software here, and that's what our focus was, and we worked on the product and made sure it was available on all kinds of phones, and it works well pretty much everywhere. So that was really my focus.
Cool. And so could you tell me a little bit more about cover flow?
Cover feed.
Or cover feed?
Yeah, absolutely. So cover feed is as soon as I turn on the phone, I see a nice photo from one of my friends. So actually everybody's been logging in today. So I've seen a lot of photos of the events. Here's one of my friends logging in Napa. So from here I can just double tap to like the photo, and I can go back.
So you got the double tap to like a photo, which is a gesture that was sort of originally on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so have you guys been cribbing any design notes from them?
A double tap to like, which is something that we really love, but we work closely with Instagram. We talk to them about all the cool stuff they're doing, and they see the great stuff we're doing. So there's a lot of back and forth.
What was the toughest part about designing Home?
A lot of just the concept of it. We knew we wanted to design software that was built around people, not apps. So one of the toughest things was just doing all the explorations and what does that mean, and how can we best do that? How can we do this and still give you access to your apps? It was really kind of a great moment when we came up with the profile picture at the bottom. It was really kind of like, snap, hey, we've got something really fantastic here. And from there, everything was built out.
Are there any apps out there that you take inspiration from or that you think are beautifully designed?
Oh, there's a ton of apps that I think are beautifully designed. And not just on a visual sense. I think there's a ton of apps that just work super well. I really love Dropbox, it works really well. I really love Flipboard, it works really well. So we mostly take a lot of inspiration from that, which are things that have that direct manipulation that we like to use, and things that are just really fast and really responsive and solve a good problem.
When people use Home for the first time, they spend a few minutes with it, what do you think is going to be the part that's this is the value add, this is what makes it better for me?
There's many times a day, but there's usually one really fantastic time of day where I turn it on and I have something truly amazing. I've turned it on and I've seen pictures of my niece, who I don't get to see very often. She lives far away. It's just a really fantastic moment to turn that on and just have this serendipitous moment. There are times I woke up the other week and Iron Man 3, they posted a brand new trailer and I saw it straight when I woke up. I didn't have to log into something later on. I didn't have to check an RSS feed or anything. I just immediately turned it on. I got to see the trailer before I hopped out of bed. And you have those great moments. You have many of them a day. I usually take screenshots and send it to the people here and say hey, really thanks for posting this photo. This really looked amazing on my phone. And It's when you have those moments where you're just like, wow, this is actually really fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like we're suddenly going to have this much more ambient awareness of what's going on with the people around us and people we care about, the brands we care about, and the ability to not have to dig into a Facebook app to get that experience. It sounds like it's really going to make it less interruptive, actually. You're going to be able to get the same value without having to spend as much time digging for it. And I think really when we're talking about how much time we spend on our phones, the idea that Mark Zuckerberg said today we open our phones 100 times a day, shaving off a few seconds of that each time actually really adds up, and it can make us feel like we're social, not just when we enter our app, but always. So thanks a lot for talking with us today, Justin.
Absolutely, it was great.
Cheers, congratulations on the launch.
Thanks.